One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart steel and a spirit unbroken. He rides onto his ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow. He takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hears battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Rituals report he pays his way. Oh, legend in the making, day by day.
Well, well, well. We happen to be back at it this morning. Much love, honor, respect to everybody that is a part of the Breakfast Club. Big round of applause to you guys, man. Always appreciate it. Much love, honor, respect to all of you guys. Hey, before we get into the craziness, because we're about to get into a deep conversation and also as well as reporting, right? So we got Israel strikes missile warehouse in Syria, and that's just kind of like the tip of the fucking iceberg. So, but before we get into that shit, all right, everyone, make sure you guys hit that like button. It's the #1 metric of all of YouTube. Helps out the show immensely, and it's free to do so. What else is free? If you're brand new, hit that subscribe button and that notification bell, man. It helps out the show immensely. Also, please consider becoming a member starting at only $2.99 a month, man. We make sure that we give back to you guys every Saturday morning. Man, it's a good-ass time. 10 a.m. CST, we have our Breakfast Club members-only live streams, and every single Saturday, man, do not miss it. We definitely go off the cuff over there. Follow my Instagram at BallValveTV, where I do everything, all my correspondence, where I do everything behind the scenes of the show, of my lifestyle, millennial food time. We do it all over there. So make sure that if you guys want to be in contact or anything like that, use Instagram right here. Last but not least, if you guys would like to help out the show monetarily and not have YouTube take a brutal 30% cut, then we'll have these scrolling down below. Of course, they'll all be shouted out just like anything else, super chats and all of that, gifted memberships, membership signups, all of that are shouted out. But I very much appreciate you guys for helping out the show like that. All right, so we got a big one this morning. It seems like every Monday it's just craziness that is in the media. We got Anson Knowles up in the building. What's up, my man? Good to see you, as well as brother Steve, Gary. Allegedly, good morning to you. Caught the beginning of the show. Very, very nice. We got Briar up in here. We got Huggy. We got Evil Rick. We got brother Lee Lance. We got Steve Pazzi up in here as well. We got brother Blair. Hardwire, good to see you, my man. We got Tats as well over there in England. Hope that you are doing fantastic. Hopefully your evening, I guess early evening now, is going well. All right, so we're going to get into this shit, man. It's going to be brutal, to say the least, right? Seems like every week it's just another craziness. It's more and more destruction. So let's go ahead and get into it. So this is right off of Live Now from Fox 3 hours ago. All right, this was in the very beginning of the live stream report, very early this morning, by the way. So this would have been at 4:57 a.m. my time on this exact report. And then, of course, we're going to move on into what Israel's stating as well. I mean, because there's some crazy shit that's going on with Yemen, and we're going to discuss that here in a little bit. But the live stream right now, it's been going for like 5 hours or whatever, and we're going to go, because there's not, in between all that shit, that's just random shit. I don't care about any of that. I have the actual main stories that we need to cover. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and start it off with Israel striking missiles, the missile warehouses in Syria.
We have a lot of headlines to get to, but we do begin with breaking news as it relates to Middle East conflict.
What's up,
I want
JB?
you to take a good look at your screen as the Associated Press is providing us a live look out in central Damascus, Syria on this
Brother
Monday.
Slim.
The Associated Press reporting a UK-based war monitor says Israeli
What's up, Tiffany?
airstrikes this Monday
morning.
hit missile warehouses in Syria and called it, quote, the most violent strikes since 2012, end quote.
The most violent strikes since 2012 for them?
Called it, quote, the most violent strikes since 2012, end quote.
Ozzy.
The Associated Press goes on to say Israel has been pounding what it says are military sites in Syria after the dramatic collapse of President Bashar Assad's rule, wiping out air defenses and most of the arsenal of the former Syrian army. Israeli troops have also seized a border buffer zone, sparking condemnation with critics, accusing Israel of violating the 1974 ceasefire and possibly exploiting the chaos in Syria for land grab. A lot to dissect on this Monday, so we want to bring into the conversation Middle East correspondent near Damascus, Josh Haston. Josh, always a
okay. This guy right here is recently has been coming on to the Live Now platform. I don't know if he was earlier, last year or so. I have no idea. I just never actually saw this dude up until recent. I think this will be like the third or fourth time we heard a report from him from a journalist standpoint, right? I believe he is one of the head guys of the Jewish News Syndicate, I believe.
pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
No, he's a Middle East correspondent. Got it. Okay.
I want to begin with the very latest as it relates to these airstrikes. We've been looking at the fall of the Assad regime, and we see that Israeli Defense Forces are not letting up as it relates to the back and forth between what could be potential military grabs as it relates to different warehouses where their artillery is held. Can you set the stage for this, please?
Yeah, absolutely. As you mentioned, the Assad regime collapsed.
By the way, good morning, brother Dwayne.
About a week ago or so. And now you have all of these groups vying for control there in Syria. And it's very important to Israel that these groups, a lot of them identified actually as terrorists by the U.S. administration, by the U.S. government, don't get their hands on some of these Assad weapons. You're talking about chemical weapons. You're talking about surface-to-surface missiles. These weapons could do major damage against the Israeli population centers. So Israel has established...
Yes, Anson. Yes. He does look completely unbiased with his small hat on. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Oh, shit! The cat.
Yeah. What's up, JB? Hey, my man coming in hot with the YouTube membership, man. Let's fucking go. JB, I very much appreciate you. Make sure that you hang around for Saturdays, man. Saturday, 10 a.m., same time that it is now. I run the same time Monday through Saturday. But the Saturday shows, man, they're off the fucking hook. But I appreciate you, kind sir.
A buffer zone, in addition to the airstrikes, have established a buffer zone in the northern part of the Golan on the Syrian side in order to monitor the situation.
What's up, brother Martin, as well? And he says, what's the dead media count up to now? Yeah, exactly. I wish I did know what the actual death rate is right now, but I have no idea, right?
Situation simultaneously targeting those weapons facilities, targeting the air defense systems of Syria. At the end of the day, we don't know what the situation will bring. We don't know who's going to ultimately take control, and Israel has to prepare.
By the way, yes, yeah, full halt to the motherfucking show. Smash that like button, yo. It's the #1 metric of all of YouTube. Helps out the show immensely. Thank you, guys. And thank you, Beezer, for that call to action right there.
Prepare for every scenario to make sure that these terrorist groups do not turn on the state of Israel. Yes, Bashar Assad was a horrible, tyrannical dictator who ruled for over 50 years, 54 years there in Syria. He gassed his own people with chemical weapons. So on one hand, it's good that he's gone. On the other hand, we do not know for sure who's going to maintain that vacuum. that is now a reality as a result of the rebel attacks and the takeover there. Israel has to be prepared that none of this spills over into our country.
Brother
Yeah, and that
SNS.
seems to be the concern of
Good to see you, kind sir. Always good to see you. Good morning.
many this morning, with the unknown of who will take the reign.
Pablo,
There is
as
concern
well.
that maybe Iran would step up and try to back Syria on this front in that fight against Israel, further adding to what you were saying about the concerns for weapons and artillery, as there is concern about.
Shit, I'm not back. Here, check it out. I'm a YouTuber now. I've been a YouTuber now for about a year and a half, almost 2 years. But yeah, so what's crazy is you're on the Twitch side and he says, and you're covering politics like Destiny. No, definitely not like Destiny. Everyone here is going to laugh at that. I'm definitely the opposition of Destiny, but yes, I do cover politics. I'm a world. I focus on world politics, geopolitics. I'm a political satirist as well as an analyst. So yeah, these are some that like I really, really enjoy going over, especially the Middle East. The Middle East is fascinating. I think for most people, it's fascinating. And yeah, man, I remember from, Crunker days and all that bullshit. Yeah, man, hopefully all is good over there. If you ever are interested, man, come on over to the YouTube side of shit and type in Insane Wheels, one word, Insane Wheels, just like it sounds. Come on over, hang out with all of us over here in the chat, and we're having a good ass time. You're a YouTuber or a Jewtuber? Yeah, definitely a YouTuber, homie. Yeah, facts. Yeah, see Destiny. Yeah, see Carney. Come on. It is what it is, right? Look, y'all, don't get all the news distract you from the fact that Hector is going to be running 3 Honda Civics with spoon engines. Dude, you're fucking crazy. Did you steal my Prep H, son? That's my father, by the way. And I don't have those issues yet, kind sir. Were you drinking or something like that? Misplaced your own Prep H? Feels ultra bad, dude. Yikes.
Nuclear capabilities as it relates to Iran.
Yeah, well, Iran is still the biggest threat to all of humanity. They're still striving for nuclear weapons. They certainly have been weakened as a result of, number one, Israel taking out Hezbollah, also the weakening of Hamas, and the fall of Syria, really. I mean, this is Iran and Syria, along with Russian backing. They were all in the same orbit. And on the other side, you have groups that are more Sunni Muslims, and you're talking about the HTS and the Turkish-backed groups. So they're on opposing sides, and Iran has already reached out to those rebels saying, we don't want any problems.
I've heard of that name, Dylan Burns, but I don't remember why. But yeah, I'll have to check it out. Yeah. I don't even really know who the fuck he
we
is.
don't want to cause we don't want this to expand in terms of conflict between those two entities. So Israel has to watch out both for Iran and the tentacles of Iran, which include Hezbollah, which is still trying to rearm itself, even though we have a ceasefire with them now. Hamas, which is still popping their heads out in Gaza, and on the other side, you have these groups who are saying openly. There was a video recorded the other day that said. One of these group leaders said, we want to march to Jerusalem. So we take those things very seriously here in the state of Israel when somebody issues a threat like that. And these are groups that are applauded by Hamas. Hamas is happy what happened in Syria. There's a big divide there between the Sunni terrorist organizations and the Shia terrorist organizations. But where they come together, where they're able to meet, is their goal to destroy this.
Yeah, we got Mount High giving a call out, saying like as if this kind of guy would be out of left-handed tobacco ever. We get down with our bad self over here. Yes, sir. Feels ultra good.
State
Back
of
to
Israel.
this.
So on that, they certainly agree on.
What's up, Mount
so
High?
Israel
Good
has
morning.
taken the necessary precautions on the instability in Syria right now. We have to make sure that they don't turn their guns towards us.
Josh, as we further discuss this conflict, the Associated Press reporting on this Monday that Israeli troops have seized a, quote, border buffer zone. There was a lot of confusion as it relates to what this border buffer zone is. People wondering if this relates to the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights area.
Damn, all right. I'm always down for a political discussion and panels and all that. I do that all the time. But yeah, let me know. If you don't know already, you may or may not remember. Follow my Instagram, by the way, so you can DM me and you can go ahead and discuss Neum. And yeah, let's go ahead and set it up where we can make where I can get on a political panel with them or whatever. Sounds good.
So we're talking about a 155 square mile zone, which is actually in the Syrian Golan Heights. You have the Israeli side of the Golan Heights and you have the Syrian. So the first time since 1974, you now have Israeli troops perched on the Syrian side of the Golan Heights for one reason only, to make sure that Israel isn't attacked. This is not any type of land grab. Prime Minister Netanyahu has made it clear time and time again. He just made it clear in a conversation with President-elect Trump.
Shit, I don't even use Twitter anymore. You have Discord? I have my Discord channel still up. If you know, that's probably a better place because I don't. Shit, I'd have to install it. Try to remember my login and all that shit. I don't even use it anymore. But yeah, my Discord link is in the description right now. So for anybody else that is interested in hanging out with us in the Discord, hit that description box. It'll drop down and give you guys the Discord. Yeah.
Over the weekend, Israel has no intention of any type of land grab or remaining in Syria. But that being said, we cannot take risks with our security. That is a strategic vantage point. Whoever controls that mountaintop sees the entire region. So we cannot have any of these groups potentially getting their hands on weapons, number one. Number two, having a presence on the Syrian side of the Golan and shooting into Israel. Ironically, you actually had videos over the last several days of Druze groups, a Druze minority group in Syria.
Shit, this sounds fucking crazy. I mean, he's got the small hat on, so he can say some shit like that. We got Chris Lestrange as well as Brother AU. Good to see you, gentlemen. Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon, wherever the hell you guys are from, because we got Chris over there in South Africa and AU here in America. So, hey, much love, honor, respect.
Saying that they would rather that Israel take control over that area. They would rather live under Israel than risk the chance that any of these potential rebel groups would come and make their lives miserable, perhaps, take them as prisoners, their wives, their daughters. We've seen this before in the Middle East with the Yazidis I'm thinking about. So these Druze actually said, and they're Druze minorities in northern Israel and the Golan Heights as well, who are citizens, proud citizens of the state of Israel, most of them. So now you have this group in Syria saying they would rather live under Israel. That being said, Israel's made it clear.
The general consensus of the people in Syria would rather it this way. Yes, the majority.
Netanyahu said that time and time again that we have no desire of expanding into that area, maintaining a permanent presence. Israel must be there in order to protect our northern border as a result of the realities of the situation.
Josh, I'm glad you mentioned that land grab aspect because critics saying this morning that they think it was a land grab. They're also saying that
good to see you as well, brother Hook Dog.
Border buffer zone violates a 1974 ceasefire agreement that was already in place. Could you provide this perspective? Because obviously we've seen how the International Criminal Court has kind of come at it.
Fuck the ICC. What a biased, what a total 1000% biased organization. Hence why, Israel and the United States don't even recognize the ICC. You have zero jurisdiction, motherfuckers.
Israel several times, including Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu for Israel's response. But critics in Israel on the other side of the argument saying, okay, well, we would love to see the ICC come at these terroristic organizations as they are Israel.
Yeah, it's an absolute double standard, going after the prime minister of a democratically elected country. But yet, where are they when it comes to Hamas? Again, the purpose of being in that area up there on the border is not to take any land. Those Israel haters out there go and accuse Israel of carrying out some sort of land grab. Those are just essentially, these individuals are serving basically as the legal, if you will,
Neum, 100%. It's a three different type of lifestyle / as well as, of course, religious, right? It's usually in the Middle East, especially, it's a three religion tier, over there. Definitely very interesting. Definitely, to say the least.
Arm or branch of the terrorists. That's what they're accusing Israel of doing. Israel has no intention to remain there. Israel is there purely for security reasons. Any country which is facing the threats that Israel's facing, namely a war on 7 different fronts right now, and if you include Syria, potential threat in Syria, that's 8 different fronts. Any other country would do everything in its power to take the strategic highlands and prevent a potential enemy entity from the ability to overlook the entire population on its northern border. So these are just, honestly,
Good morning, Brother Hank. Good to see you as well.
Israel haters. These are so-called human rights organizations holding Israel to a different standard. They don't have the same standard for any other country in the world.
Which is true. It is true. You know, you'll never really see the ICC ever like crack down over there on, you know, the Middle East. No, not going to happen.
World, Israel's acting in self-defense, as we've had to do since our existence back in 1948. So, you know, it's expected. Unfortunately, you see condemnations of Israel in the United Nations more than any other country in the world combined. You see it time and time again each and every year, whether it's the General Assembly or Security Council or the Human Rights branch of the UN in Geneva. You see it time and time again, Israel held to a different standard. We're used to it. It's unfortunate, but we are going to do whatever is necessary.
Wow, you have family in Tel Aviv. That's awesome. We actually have quite a few. We have a couple of people actually in Israel that watches the program over here, and it's a blessing, you know, that they would, you know, trust what I have to say as an outsider, you know, because I'm an American, full, right? But I just happen to be covering a lot of Israel and the Middle East, but only because geopolitics is very complicated, you know, especially in wartime. And we're nonstop talking about Russia, Ukraine, Russia, Syria, Russia, North Korea. I mean, the list just keeps going on. The unrest of the world right now is insane. It's insane to watch, dude. Yeah. And so I've been covering it every day for probably like the last year. Yeah, pretty like crazy. That within the last year, it's just been chaos.
To prevent any of these potential enemies from seizing strategic lands and causing a potential threat to the state of Israel.
Josh Haston.
That was pretty. Hey, listen, that was a decent report. Facts, by the way. So let's go ahead and move on over to real quick. I wanted to bring this up to your guys' attention because so far I really haven't seen anyone discuss it aside from this because it's only been an hour. This just happened an hour ago. So obviously I'm going to be one of the first, right? So let's go ahead and get into a little bit of what's happening in Yemen right now currently. Apparently this is how it was titled: Sirens, Israeli defense intercepts Yemen projectile fire. So I don't know if that means, you know, missiles. I don't know what the fuck that they're talking about. So let's go ahead and dive into that and figure that out.
Getting back to this breaking news we are following right here on Live Now from Fox. If you're just now tuning in, Israeli Defense Forces putting this out on X moments ago. They say, quote, sirens sounding across central Israel after projectile fire from Yemen.
What's up, Penguin Posse?
We have as it relates to this information. Again, Yemen has not responded to this allegation of firing a projectile. We know right now the Israeli government, they are holding their briefing out in Tel Aviv, Israel, to discuss the very latest of this ongoing conflict. I want to head out there now and play it for you in full.
Yep.
Good afternoon, ladies and
gentlemen. They trip on that
Shalom.
shit, huh?
I'm David Mensa, Israeli government spokesman for the National Public Diplomacy Directorate in the Office of the Prime Minister. This Monday, the 16th of December, day 437 of this October the 7th war. In the last few minutes, sirens sounded here in central Israel. A missile was launched from Yemen. The missile was intercepted.
So it was a missile. Missile. Yeah.
By the Israeli Air Force before it crossed into Israeli territory. Sirens were sounded due to the possibility of falling shrapnel from the interception. just so you know, so I can share with you exactly precisely what.
Unacceptable, by the way, Blair. Let me talk to your boss. I'll talk to him. No. We're not allowing that shit. Nothing interrupts the news cycle, especially Insane Wheels news cycle. You know what I mean? What's up, brother Papa? I got to talk to your boss too. Look at this. Apparently, I got to talk to all your bosses. This is unreal, unacceptable. We should never allow this. Appreciate you guys. What's up? And good morning, by the way.
What happens? The air raid siren went off. We have 1.5 minutes to get to shelter. Myself and my colleagues did just that. And that means not just me here working in Israel, but every single person living in this area. So that's millions of people, children, mums, dads, old people having to run to shelter because of this Yemeni missile. Yemenis and the Houthis in particular should understand very, very well, as the Houthis understand, and as Hezbollah understand very well, as Hamas understand very well, that Israel's patience is not inexhaustible. So a couple of points from me, and then we'll get straight to your.
I did not know that, by the way, Papa. Shit, that's crazy. Yemen is ancient Hebrew word for target. Definitely very interesting.
Questions. Firstly, let me start by drawing your attention to the comments the Prime Minister made last night about changes in our region on Syria. Israel has no interest in conflict with Syria. Our default position is, of course, for neighborly relations, but our policy on Syria will reflect the reality on the ground. Let's be clear. For decades now, Syria has been an active enemy of the state of Israel. Syria has attacked Israel on repeated occasions. Iran and Hezbollah have embedded themselves in Syria and
yeah, son. What's up, Sport Brand? Good to see you, SB, up in the building.
Attacked us from Syria.
Good morning.
Iran armed Hezbollah through Syria. This will not reoccur. The government has directed the IDF to do two things. Number one, to thwart potential threats from Syria, and number two, prevent terrorists from taking control close to our border. Israel is committed to preventing the rearming of Hezbollah.
Oh, we know that.
Next, an operational update. Yesterday in Gaza, our armed forces conducted an intelligence-led precise strike on Hamas terrorists inside Command and Control Center.
Brother Warland.
Was previously the UNRWA Sheikh Jamil School, also known as the Ahmad Abdul Aziz School, in the humanitarian zone.
Try to say that 3 times fast. Shit.
In Khan Yunis. Hamas systematically operate where Gazans live. Yes, of course, Israel took steps to save Gazan lives, precise munitions, precise aerial surveillance, and additional intelligence. But Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad systematically violate international law by exploiting the Gazan lives as human shields. Next, in Judea and Samaria, also called the West Bank, since the start of this war, more than 6,000 wanted people have been arrested, with 2,350 connected with Hamas. Last night, I can tell you that in Jericho, our forces confiscated more than 1 million shekels of terrorist funding.
Damn.
Elsewhere, other terrorist funds were seized, as well as guns and ammunitions confiscated. And I can also share with you that in the last day, earlier this morning, actually, another UAV was launched from Yemen, and that too was intercepted by the Israeli Navy missile boat.
Yeah. IDF doesn't play around with flying projectiles
in the Mediterranean.
They take them motherfuckers down quick.
Was intercepted prior
to
crossing into Israeli territory. As we have said to you before, the Houthis will understand, as Hezbollah understands in Lebanon, as Hamas understand in Gaza, that Israel's patience is not inexhaustible. And finally, to Kogat, our latest figures in the last 24 hours, 254 humanitarian aid trucks went into Gaza. 42 via the Erez crossing, 212 via Kerem Shalom crossing. In terms of collection, 75 trucks were collected from the Gazan side of Kerem Shalom by international organizations, but still 700 trucks worth of aid are waiting for collection. A convoy of 14 aid trucks entered Gaza via Route 96 yesterday, and 6 tankers of gas for critical infrastructure also went in. 2 ambulances and 1 bus for medical needs went into northern Gaza yesterday. In addition, perhaps I can share with you that Cindy McCain, the chair of the World Food Programme, gave some incorrect figures about aid going into Gaza. Just to perhaps enlighten the World Food Programme about the correct figures. The most updated information, which was not shared perhaps with Cindy McCain. So let me give you the opportunity. Of hearing the correct figures.
The fuck?
These are the facts. During the month of November, 847 World Food Programme trucks were coordinated into Gaza. Let me repeat that. Not the 2 or 3 trucks which Cindy McCain talked about, but 847 World Food Programme trucks were coordinated into Gaza. These trucks entered Gaza through crossings from Israel. Indeed, over the last week alone, 1,316 humanitarian aid trucks, including food, including water, including medical supplies, including shelter, have entered Gaza, and 1,318 trucks were distributed within Gaza to humanitarian warehouses and shelters in coordination with aid organizations and the international community.
How many people even live in Gaza now? You know what I mean? Like trucks and trucks, thousands of trucks full of shit. Like, they probably have more in supplies now than they ever did. I mean, when you only have like 1,500 people left.
Since the start of December,
just asking a question.
16 million pounds of flour have entered Gaza for bakeries in Gaza. As we always say, the IDF and Koget acts in accordance with international law. Hamas want to starve their own people, but Israel gets the food in. Okay, first question here I can see here is from Joel Pollock. Can I also, just before we start the questions, apologize to you for the late starting of this briefing due to the Yemeni missile, the Houthi missile, which was fired at us just a few moments ago. First question here is from Joel Pollock at Breitbart News. World Food Programme Director Cindy McCain alleged yesterday on CBS News that Israel is targeting humanitarian aid workers and that it only allows 2 trucks of aid into Gaza from the World Food Programme in November. Can you kindly respond to these allegations? Thank you for that question, Joel. I think I've addressed that quite comprehensively in our briefing just now. You're right, Cindy McCain is mistaken. You know, we here in Israel have the utmost respect for Senator John McCain. He was a war hero, not only in the US, but also understood Israel's unique positions and the challenges we face here in Israel as the only democracy in hundreds of miles. And
that's what they do over there. That's what happens when you allow terrorist organizations to run your people is, where a single cigarette in Gaza is $10. That's what happens when resources go into the hands of evil people. 100%. Crazy.
Any direction. So it is all the more upsetting to hear Cindy McCain, the chair of the World Food Programme, giving some incorrect figures about the aid going in. As I mentioned to you in our briefing, in terms of the World Food Programme, the correct figures are as follows. 847 trucks went in for the World Food Programme in November. Now that's a big gap between 2 trucks and 847 trucks. So we can only suggest, as Kogat has, that perhaps the correct figures are not being given to Cindy McCain. And second question is from Joel Pollock. Can you explain the special circumstances for the Prime Minister's postponed testimony tomorrow? Thank you for that question, Joel. We've got nothing to add on that. Question from David Clement from the News Forum. Does the Prime Minister's office comment about the Henry Jackson Society report in the Telegraph stating that the civilian death toll in Gaza are inflated? Thank you for that question, David. We have, on numerous occasions, questioned two things. Number one, why media takes the Hamas figures, the Hamas health ministry figures on face value. Hamas, an organization that murdered 1,200 of our citizens, mostly civilians, that committed the most appalling atrocities, that Hamas that are willing to fight to the last Gazan, Hamas that are not only upset that they're not upset that Gazans have been killed, they only wish more Gazans have been killed, that Hamas that are prepared to fight to the last Gazan. We do, of course, believe that the figures which they use are incorrect. We here in Israel see harm caused to civilians as a tragedy, while Hamas, of course, sees harm caused to civilians as a strategy. Hamas systematically violates international law.
No way, Barbie. Are you trolling right now? That is hilarious, by the way. I have to give you a W. You deserve that shit. That's hilarious.
And commits a war crime by using civilian infrastructure and the population of Gaza as a human shield for their terrorist activities. Now, this data from the information ministry in Gaza, it clearly operates as a media arm for Hamas. It systematically reports inflated figures on casualties, and it cannot be trusted. The best example of this I can give you is that Sinwar himself is listed on the Gazan health ministry figures of dead civilians in Gaza. So the Prime Minister has said that we believe that 20,000 Hamas terrorists have been killed. Within these figures, there are many, many mistakes. Firstly, that deaths from natural causes inside Gaza are also included in these figures, that these figures are routinely inflated. They are not true. And the experts, John Spencer from West Point, the world expert on urban warfare, he has said that Israel has hit the gold standard when it comes to civilian to terrorist ratio. No one has managed to get civilians out of harm's way.
Yeah, and I don't think any other country has 8 war fronts, though, in all fairness.
As Israel has when targeting these terrorists. The same is true for other military experts as well. For instance, Mr. Kemp, the former British head of armed forces in Afghanistan, or Andrew Fox, another British senior military officer. He too has highlighted that these figures cannot be trusted. Okay.
All right, let's go ahead and move on over into the actual news media right now. Let's go ahead and get into the cycle. Those were highlights within just a couple of hours ago. That one particularly was only an hour ago. So now let's go ahead and get into the news media cycle and see what we've got to
Welcome
see
back
here.
to Live Now from Fox. Showing you this live look out in central Damascus again here at 8:20
Syria.
on the East Coast, and many unanswered questions this morning as relates to what's next for Syria since the fall of the Assad regime. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken spoke to the media about what he thinks will happen next for Syria. Also, America's response. I want to play out some of his comments for you now.
Fucking Blinken. This guy's the biggest piece of shit, just in case nobody knew that.
Assad
Or somebody didn't know that. Biggest corrupt piece
more
of
than
shit.
5 decades of dictatorship.
Cannot wait for the time to come when that door goes wide open, get the fuck out and don't let the fucking door hit your ass on the way out. Seriously.
Syria has changed more in less than a week than in any week this last half century. Shortly after Assad's fall, I set out a set of principles. Essentially,
this guy's like top 3 people in the United States, theoretically, in position, and they can't even get him a fucking decent microphone. We can send billions to Ukraine, but hey, little $50 Temu microphone for the government.
to delivering on the aspirations of the Syrian people, who for the first time in most of their lives now have the prospect of shaping their own future. I returned to the region this week.
Bro, oh my goodness. You know that shit drives me nuts, right? So Steve brings up something pretty funny. Mike, why aren't you covering the drones over and over like everyone else? I don't need to resort to one main hot world topic. You know what I mean? And a lot of people rely on shit like that for their own content or whatever. That's kind of the issue is people know that it'll grab attention, and so they'll just keep playing into it. I'm like, fuck that, dude. The views and shit, that's for the birds, man. Like, keep it moving. We got shit going on around us every hour of every day. You know, like, let's say stay focused. Everyone wants to get distracted by some fucking drones that the government knows that is there, by the way. Yeah, you know, those fucking guys are liars. They lie right through their teeth. It's unreal.
To build consensus around those principles with key partners. Today, the United States and our partners in the region have agreed on a set of shared principles to guide our support for Syria and its people going forward. America and our partners have an important stake in helping the Syrian people chart this new path. We know that what happens inside of Syria can have powerful consequences well beyond its borders, from mass displacement to terrorism. And we know that we can't underestimate the challenges of this moment and in the weeks and months ahead. The Syrian population has been traumatized by decades of repression. Throughout its rule, the Assad regime stoked tensions among ethnic and religious lines to divide the Syrian people. After more than a decade of conflict and many decades of corruption, humanitarian needs of the people are massive. ISIS and other terrorist groups still maintain presence in Syria and want to use this period of uncertainty to try to regain a foothold. No one understands these challenges better than the Syrian people themselves. And Syrians know that they're going to need support from their neighbors and from the international community to meet these challenges.
What's up, Dean? Good morning.
In this region and elsewhere, we've seen how the fall of a repressive regime can swiftly give way to more conflict and chaos, how the shoes of one dictator can be filled by another, or how interference by an outside country can be thrown off only to be replaced by another. That's why it's so important that we and our partners came together today to agree on principles that will guide our efforts to help the Syrian people meet these challenges and build the inclusive, non-sectarian, peaceful, and sovereign state that they want. Our message to the Syrian people is this: we want them to succeed, and we're prepared to help them do so. Today's agreement sends a unified message to the new interim authority and parties in Syria on the principles crucial to securing much-needed support and recognition, which we've reflected in a joint communique that should be issued very shortly. We agreed that the transition process should be Syrian-led and Syrian-owned and produce an inclusive and representative government. The rights of all Syrians, including minorities and women, should be respected.
Fuck that microphone. Dude, it's so hard to listen to that.
And aid should be able to reach people who need it. State institutions should deliver essential services to the Syrian people. Syria should not be used as a base for terrorist groups or others who threaten Syria's people, its neighbors, or the world. Chemical weapons stockpiles should be secured and safely destroyed.
What's up, brother Pitbull? I appreciate you giving the call to action, by the way. I appreciate that. Absolutely. A little halt to the show, man. We're just asking you guys hit that like button. It's the #1 metric of all of YouTube. Helps out the show immensely, and it's free to do so. Very much appreciate my man over here in England. So shout out to you. Hopefully you're enjoying yourself this beautiful day today.
Syria should have peaceful relations with its neighbors. Relevant organizations should have access to facilities that can help determine the fate of missing Syrians and foreign nationals, and eventually hold abusers accountable. On this point, let me just add that the United States continues our own dogged, determined efforts.
No, the problem is they purchased a $50 microphone off of Temu. You know what I mean? That's the problem.
To find American journalist Austin Tice and bring him home safely. Now, no one has any illusions about how challenging this time will be, but there's also something incredibly powerful at work. A Syrian people determined to break with the past and shape a better future. Look at what we've seen over the past few days, what the world has seen. So many demonstrations of Syrians' commitment to build a different kind of nation, to embrace their newfound freedom, to choose national unity over narrow sectarian or ethnic interests. We see it in people who came out to mosques and public squares around Syria for Victory Day celebrations, including the thousands who packed into Damascus's Umayyad Mosque. We see it in the thousands of Syrian families of disappeared people trying to help one another find missing loved ones. We see it in the SDF raising the flag of the Syrian revolution. We see it in the local volunteer groups that have sprung up all throughout Syria to clean streets, to deliver bread and medicine to those in need. We hear it in the Syrians in the streets singing, "Hold your head high. You are a free Syrian." All of this was unthinkable just a week ago, and it does speak to the promise of this moment. We're determined to work with the Syrian people to shape a future that lives up to that promise. Today's agreement produced real progress toward that shared goal.
Get it over with, Blinken.
I also used the meetings that we've had over recent days with our counterparts in Qatar and in Egypt to press forward on an agreement for the release of hostages from Gaza and a ceasefire, as I did earlier this week in Turkey. We continue to work relentlessly toward that goal.
Oh, they're fixing it
With that,
now?
I'm happy to take some questions.
Oh, they fixed the fucking microphone as he ends. Listen to that shit.
Continue to work relentlessly toward that goal. With that, I'm happy to take some questions.
They just started fixing it. Unreal. I want to hear the question.
Secretary, has the U.S. made direct contact with HTS, and if so, when did that contact take place?
With HTS.
What has been sustained, and what has been the message?
Much love, Brother Lee.
Back from the group. Has the U.S. confirmed any Russian military withdrawal from Syria at this point? And do you believe they should fully withdraw from the country? And then, if I may, on news of the day, do you have any reaction to President Putin's impeachment today in South Korea? Thank you.
Good. Thank you. Good. We got through 3 questions.
Oh, they didn't fix it. He's just a loud motherfucker screaming into it. I got it.
First, yes, we've been in contact with HTS and with other parties. We have impressed upon everyone we've been in contact with the importance of helping find Austin Tice and bringing him home. And we've also shared the principles that I just laid out for our ongoing support, principles, again, that have now been adopted by countries throughout the region and well beyond. And we've communicated those.
That's direct contact.
That's direct contact, yes. With regard to Russian withdrawals, I can't comment on anything beyond what I've seen reported in the media. So certainly seen stories showing withdrawals. Beyond that, I'd refer to others in the administration. And on events in South Korea and President Yoon. Look, I think the most important thing is that the Republic of Korea has demonstrated its democratic resilience.
This fucking guy.
We've seen it follow peacefully a process laid out in its constitution. And we're ready to work with President Han as he assumes office
We'll tune into a little bit of
Most
NATO.
important, we strongly support the Korean people. We strongly support the Ironclad Alliance.
Yeah, I'm done listening to Blinken ramble on over there.
Stephanie Quinn, time right now is 9:41 Eastern, 6:41 Pacific. Our next event takes us out to Brussels, Belgium. This is where NATO's Secretary General, alongside the Prime Minister of Montenegro, held a joint news conference earlier this morning. This is at the NATO headquarters in Brussels. Let's listen in.
In Brussels.
Montenegro, Milojko Spajic.
Yes, Prime Minister Spajic, dear Mickey, it is a pleasure to welcome you here to NATO headquarters. For 7 years now, Montenegro has been a valued NATO ally. You enhance our military presence in Latvia and in Bulgaria. You support NATO's peacekeeping efforts in Kosovo. You contribute to building more effective and inclusive security forces in Iraq, and I welcome your commitment to spend 2% on defense this year. Today, of course, we discussed many issues. We are both worried about the situation.
Yeah, NATO has good. You know why? Because we fund it, guaranteed. Yeah. All that shit over there in NATO that you see over there, their headquarters, all that shit, guaranteed. We pay for all of it. You know what I mean? We front the bill for everything.
Ukraine, and we want to make sure
we got
that
quality
the
over here.
support is there. And I want to say that I'm grateful for the support that Montenegro has provided to Ukraine so far, including the delivery of military equipment and supporting through NATO's comprehensive assistance package. The situation on the battlefield in Ukraine remains difficult, and Russia is making gains, be it incremental gains, but still gains. Over the past weeks, we have seen large-scale attacks against Ukraine that killed and terrorized civilians and targeted critical infrastructure. This could be Ukraine's most difficult winter since this started, the full onslaught.
Yeah, there's millions of people without electricity.
2022. So Ukraine needs our urgent support. All allies must deliver on the commitments made at the Washington summit, including, of course, the financial pledge and the NATO command.
What's up, Brother Shadow? Good to see you, my man. He said, I'm here listening and working. Hell yeah, man. I appreciate you. Hopefully you're enjoying yourself.
Prime Minister, dear Mickey, I also welcome your commitment to reforms and Montenegro's path towards EU integration. The attacks on the water pipeline in northern Kosovo on November the 29th underline the fragility of stability in the Western Balkans. And I want here to thank the KFOR commander for the swift deployment of troops to protect critical infrastructure. We remain committed to ensuring that KFOR fulfills its UN mandate. It is now essential that the facts are established and that those responsible are held to account. Today, we also discussed Russia's malign and hostile activities on NATO territory. We have seen a surge of cyber attacks, disinformation, political interference, increasing acts of sabotage, and other hostile actions against NATO allies. Montenegro faces consistent hybrid threats from Russian and foreign actors. Russia wants to create fear and undermine our support for Ukraine. This will not work. In fact, we are strengthening our resilience. Montenegro has taken strong measures to counter hybrid threats by being the first recipient of a NATO counter-hybrid support team. And I welcome that Montenegro joined the NATO Rapid Response Group, which is a key forum for allies to tackle this problem collectively, to tackle this problem together. Prime Minister, dear Mickey, again, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your commitment to our alliance. Thank you for visiting today. It's my honor to give you the floor.
Secretary General, thank you so much for the warm welcome and for the introduction.
Dude almost speaks as clear as a fucking American. I mean, I'm pretty damn surprised by that.
The day that Montenegro has achieved historic success on our European path in terms of having an IGC today, it's great to reaffirm our full Euro-Atlantic future and commitment to NATO. We are not only in declarative terms a credible NATO partner. We are this year going to go over the threshold of 2%, as dear Mark has said. And also for the next year, for 2025, we already have around at least 2.1%, maybe even 2.3%.
Oh, big fucking deal.
We are participating in the missions in Latvia, Bulgaria, also Kosovo, and we have deployments that are very credible and are respected by their counterparts. We are ensuring full compliance with NATO policies and commitments, and as a candidate country for EU membership, we are 100% aligned with CFSP already for 12 years. Montenegro supports Ukraine and believes that NATO membership will be the ultimate guarantee for this nation as well. We consider Ukraine as the easternmost Western Balkan nation, so we pay full attention to the development of the Russian aggression in Ukraine, and we stand firm to support Ukraine as much as we can. With NSATU, we are also going to commit at least 2 people, and we will commit others that will be part of the mission, as well as the ambassador will be deployed hopefully by end of this year. That we will have the most professional person that we can find in our foreign affairs division. We will have it as a candidate by end of this year, and we will have it.
That's good. All right. Well, we figured out what's going on over there a little bit. Like I'm not willing to sit through the entire ordeal over there. All right. Let's see. Secretary of the Navy Del Toro discusses global security. Interesting. I definitely don't care about women, peace, and Secretary Symposium. What does that mean? Symposium? I don't even know. Symposium? I don't even know what the fuck that even means. Yeah, fuck that. What's the AP reporting? Anytime I see the AP doing something around the nation, or the world, rather. Okay, so fuck the drone shit.
I did want to share this live look with you. We are going to be taking that without interruption right here on Live Now from Fox as we monitor all of these live events. The UN Security Council currently meeting now, talking about imposing possible sanctions against Libya as there were armed clashes happening over the weekend that forced residents to stay inside their homes, also causing fires in refineries. This happening right now. Let's listen in.
In 2023, an exponentially growing number of Sudanese refugees crossed into Libya, with 500 on average arriving daily. The human rights and protection conditions faced by migrants and refugees remains a UN top priority. I urge all stakeholders to ensure
defund them.
Management supports with international
Listen,
human rights.
don't get me twisted. Defund all of it. NATO, UN, defund all of it.
Law, and the UN remains committed to assisting us. Madam President, closing. That largely remains.
Can't hear you, bitch.
The backdrop of the support.
Come on, fix it.
That this UN Security Council audio is having a bit of an issue. We get these live streams from all around the world, and here inside the United States, it appears that the issue is on their end as the microphone is going in and out. It does appear as though this speaker was speaking virtually, and we see that the representative from the United States is now speaking. Let's once again listen in.
What's up, A2? I see you up in here, my man. Much love, honor, respect.
Nope, not yet.
Good morning.
Let's try again.
It's still fucking up.
Better.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
President.
Nope, still fucked up.
Is got remain large. It is neither stable against the back.
It's all fucked up still.
Regional changes and economic
from her side.
We must collectively seize the opportunity to achieve a lasting political settlement. Members of this council as well as
Oh, I bet you they're shitting bricks right now.
Ms. Corey, we still can't hear you. So we're going to disconnect and come back to you, and I will move to the civil society briefer, to Ambassador Kazuyuki Yamazaki, and we will come back to you for your closing remarks. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I now give the floor to Ambassador Kazuyuki Yamazaki.
Thank you, Madam President. In accordance with paragraph 24E of Resolution 1970 of the 26th February 2011, I have the honor to report to the Security Council on the work of the committee established pursuant to the same resolution. The report covers the period from 10th October to 16th December 2024.
Jesus Christ, this guy is dry as fucking ever.
Mr. Omar, you have the floor.
Madam President, ladies and gentlemen, members of
Financial assets.
Man, they're still going off. The UN is doing this whole briefing, man. Hearing, whatever. Okay, this is interesting. Fuck it. We'll end off with this. This is what we'll end off with today. Let's go ahead and bring it back because I want to hear the story a little bit. All right, let's go in here.
You're taking a live look inside Mission Control. I was taking a listen to the audio, and there is audio, so I wanted to pivot to this right now.
And working aboard the International Space Station. The NASA Flight Control Team here in Mission Control Houston and the SpaceX teams in Hawthorne, California entered into integrated operations a short time ago. They also pulled go for the undock command.
Undock time is 1600, so you will need to stand down from ARED from 1600.
With its mission nearly complete, the Dragon spacecraft is ready to return to Earth to make another delivery by returning some scientific experiments and hardware to the researchers on the ground. We are talking about a cargo spacecraft today, so there are no people on board the Dragon spacecraft that's getting ready to depart the space station.
We're about to see that launch, by the way. Let me fast forward a little bit.
Views on your screen now of Mission Control Houston, but let's go back to some earlier events. Let's take it back to its launch day. The cargo mission that we're talking about today is SpaceX's 31st commercial resupply mission for NASA to the International Space Station. The SpaceX Dragon cargo spacecraft launched atop a Falcon 9 rocket.
Appreciate you, Chris. Thank you for that.
From Launch Complex 39A at NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida on Monday, November 4th at 8:29 p.m. Central, 9:29 p.m. Eastern. This is SpaceX's 31st commercial resupply mission for NASA to the International Space Station.
Incredible.
And at about 11 minutes after launch, the Dragon itself separated from the second or upper stage of the Falcon 9 rocket into its preliminary orbit.
What's up, GEG? I see you, my man. That's so funny.
Following an almost 11.5-hour transit, the cargo spacecraft arrived at the forward port of the station's Harmony module on Tuesday, November 5th, and docked to the space station at 8:55 a.m. Central.
Central. That's right, motherfuckers.
SpaceX's Dragon spacecraft delivered around 3 tons of new science investigations, food, supplies, and equipment to the international crew. To give a little sampling of what was on board, the spacecraft carried hardware, including a potable water dispenser, filter, an emergency portable breathing apparatus, and other items. We're also in the middle of the holiday season, so some of the food that arrived to the station on November...
You give them some Christmas cookies?
5th included a holiday package which had some lobster, crab, and quail, as well as a cheese.
Shit. Oh shit! Oh shit! Fucking the space station got lobster steaks going on. Shit. All right.
Kit. And of course, there was plenty of science experiments that the Dragon spacecraft delivered to the station.
Nope, it's too heavy. It'd be too heavy. They'd have to drop off like some sections of the rocket to make sure that that fruitcake could get up in the air. You know, those things are fucking heavy as fuck.
Experiments from, and as we mentioned, is bringing back some hardware and science experiments from the space station. Of course, the major objective of activities aboard the International Space Station. Following the launch of the 31st commercial resupply mission on Dragon from station to the station last month, there are several science experiments and technology demonstrations on their way back. When Dragon splashes down off the coast of Florida,
no, lobster, comma, steak, comma, crab, comma, not lobster steak.
For quick transportation of the experiments to NASA's Space Systems Processing Facility at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. This allows researchers to collect data with minimal sample exposure to Earth's gravity. We are about 2.5 minutes away from the first maneuver in the operations, which is the undock command. Once the undock command takes place, that is where we will go through the various hooks that will retract and the umbilicals that will open, and we will get through our undocking portion of coverage today. So we are standing by for that.
You know what? I'm going to get sushi today. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go out and get me some sushi today. That's what I'm going to do. Look out for my Instagram. Let's fast forward a little bit.
Just getting set to leave the International Space Station after completing the first part of its mission. That undocking is scheduled at approximately 10:05 a.m. Central this morning.
Well, let's fast forward a little bit.
And I am sitting here in space here at sea, which just took place at 10 a.m.
Where is the video?
We do want to bring East into
Oh, they just talk about it or what?
Thousands of it remains.
Okay, hold on. We're gonna find out.
International Space Station. We are streaming this on our YouTube page without commercial interruption, so we do invite you to head. And it's an early.
Oh man, I wanted to see if okay they'll come back to it when they do it. Oh, Trump is gonna speak. All right.
On the dollar.
4 minutes ago.
Unfortunately, the people who
3 minutes ago.
Take some questions.
A pivot to that right now so we can see.
I want to hear it.
Joy and happiness and a real sense of relief. And
Here we
the
go.
beautiful part about what
all
we
right,
do.
so we do see that President-elect Trump is taking to the podium. We're going to pivot to that right now so we can listen in.
So,
I do.
It's an honor to be with you. We'll discuss a couple of points. We'll take some questions later if you'd like. I'm sure you might have one or two. I'd be shocked if you didn't. I'd be very impressed. But I'm honored to welcome one of the most accomplished business leaders of our time, the founder and CEO of SoftBank, everybody knows, Masa Yoshi-san. Masa runs one of the largest companies in Japan and among the most successful investment and technology companies anywhere in the world, one of the most successful investors in the world. And we've just concluded a very productive meeting. And today I'm thrilled to announce that SoftBank will be investing $100 billion in America, creating 100,000 American jobs at a minimum. And he's doing this because he feels very optimistic about our country since the election. And many other people are also coming in with tremendous amounts of money. You probably noticed that a poll was just taken. It's business is literally in 39 years, there's been nothing like it. It's been the biggest increase. Small business owners gave it a 41% jump. It's the biggest jump that we've had in 39 years. and nobody's ever seen anything like it. And it's just they're very optimistic. This historic investment is a monumental demonstration of confidence in America's future, and it will help ensure that artificial intelligence, emerging technologies, and other industries of tomorrow are built, created, and grown right here in the USA. One of the beautiful things about Masa is he's very much involved with emerging technology, probably knows it maybe better than almost anybody. So it's a great honor. And some of you remember after the 2016 election, also SoftBank committed to invest $50 billion in our country, and they did. And I'm very pleased to say that they kept that promise in every way, shape, and form. And now they're looking to do 100. And I've looked at their books. They do have the possibility of doing more. I'm going to ask them to do a little bit more.
A lot of money.
First, I'm going to ask them to speak. And just to say
$100 billion is a fantastic investment.
A few words. Masa, please. Thank you. Thank you, please. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
What's up, Stephanie?
Thank you so much. I'm very, very excited. I would really like to celebrate the great victory.
Oh,
of,
I got you mixed up with the other Stefan that is known, or Steven, that is known as Stephanie, because it's actually a chick. What's up, Stefan? I see you up in here. Sorry, my bad. You're not a woman.
And my confidence level to the economy of the United States has tremendously increased with his victory.
That sounds bomb.
So because of that, I'm now excited to commit.
You said because of Trump and his victory, I'm excited to commit this money.
$100 billion and 100,000 jobs into the United States.
And 100,000 jobs. God damn.
This is double of last time, as President Trump said. Because I say, oh, President Trump is a double down president. I'm going to have to double down, $100 billion and 100,000 jobs. This is, my confidence level.
And in my opinion, it was fraud and it was election interference. She's got me right.
What happened?
She's a very.
Did it skip ahead a little bit there? What the fuck just happened? Oh, they clipped it down. Oh, okay. Hold on. The fuck is going on here?
Stronger.
Oh, he's been gone for a minute.
I'm very excited to make this happen. Thank you very much.
That's dope.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely, brother Steve. Be easy over there,
He's
homie.
A great gentleman, a great leader, and a great investor. So to have that offer made, and we have so many companies coming in now that will be announcing, or that will announce themselves. We don't have to be with them to do it, but they'll be announcing. And
true.
As I said, small business optimism took a 41-point jump. 41 points. It went up 41 points. That's unheard of. And that's the biggest they think in recorded history, but they know at least a minimum of 39 years. So that's great. But on behalf of the American people, I want to thank Masa for his faith in what's happening with our country and what's happening with the world. There's a whole light over the entire world. Many people, some reporters, and speaking to them, they said, it actually is true. A couple of them are not necessarily friends of mine, but they said it is actually true that there's a light shining over the world. We're trying to help very strongly in getting the hostages back, as you know, with Israel and the Middle East. We're working very much on that. We're trying to get the war stopped, that horrible war that's going on in Ukraine, Russia, Ukraine. We're going to, we've got a little progress. It's a tough one. It's a nasty one. It's nasty. People are being killed at levels that nobody's ever seen. It's very level fields, and the only thing that stops a bullet is a body, a human body. And the number of soldiers that are being killed on both sides is astronomical. I've never seen anything like that. And rapidly, I get reports every week, and it's not even, it's like just they're going down. Nobody's seen anything like it. It's a very flat surface, a very flat land. That's why it's great farming land. It's the breadbasket for the world, actually. but it's very flat, and there's nothing to stop a bullet but a body. There's no protection, no nothing, and it's what's happening there is far worse than people are reporting for both sides. So we're going to do our best, and we've been doing our best, and we'll see what happens. But since the election, I've been working every day to put the world at ease a little bit, to get rid of the wars.
I mean, 200 billion? What do you mean he upped it to 2 billion? Yeah, it unfortunately just skipped. But what part did I miss there, Dwayne?
had no wars when I left office, and now it's the whole world is blowing up. But there's great optimism, and you saw that by SoftBank. Starting on day one, we'll implement a rapid series of bold reforms to restore our nation to full prosperity. We're going to go full prosperity and to build the greatest economy the world has ever seen, just as we had just a short time ago. We had it in my term. We had the greatest economy that the world had seen. We were blowing away everybody. Our country was doubling up on China, doubling up on everybody, and everybody knows it. And then we had to slow it down with COVID, unfortunately, at the end. But even then, I gave it back with a substantial increase of the stock market, bigger than it was pre-COVID. So it was pretty amazing. Already preparations are underway to slash massive numbers of job-killing regulations, eliminating
red tape,
eliminating 10 old regulations for every new one. You put a new regulation on, you have to get rid of 10, and we'll be able to do it. And that was about the percentage we had. We cut more regulations than any president has ever cut by far, actually, by approximately 5 times. Some of those regulations, unfortunately, were put back on, but we'll catch up very quickly. We'll catch up with it. One of the things I'd like to ask the Biden administration, as you probably heard, there are 2 events that took place. We're talking about a friendly takeover, a friendly transition, as they like to say. This is a friendly transition, and it is, but there are 2 events that took place that I think are very terrible. One is that if people don't come back to work, come back into the office, they're going to be dismissed. And somebody in the Biden administration gave a 5-year waiver of that, so that for 5 years, people don't have to come back into the office.
Why?
It involved 49,000 people.
Why?
For 5 years, they don't have to go. They just signed this thing. It's ridiculous. So it
COVID's
was
over.
like a gift to a union, and we're going to obviously be in court to stop it. The other thing is really terrible. We spent a tremendous amount of money on building the wall. The wall was designed specifically by the Border Patrol because it's very hard to climb. They need to have see-through. They need it to be steel because you can't cut. It's very powerful steel. It's very hard steel. It's a special type of steel, but very, very hard to cut. Inside the steel, as you know, we pour concrete, and that's a grade 10 concrete, which is a very strong concrete, very as though you were building about a 60-story building. It's very powerful concrete. They've made tremendous technology advances in the word concrete. Who would think that? But I know that from the construction industry. Today, what you can do with concrete is incredible. So we have a very strong concrete. And then we have a rebar. We put rebar inside the concrete, and the rebar likewise is very hard to cut. So it's a very expensive process, very expensive wall. And then we put a anti-climb plate on the top. You saw that. And I didn't like the look of it. But then when I watched, we had people testing. We had mountain climbers actually testing. And they were not able to get over the anti-climb plate. So I said, all right, I guess we're going to put it on. That plate on top, which I never loved the look of it, but it works so unbelievably well. You have to do it. So we spent a lot of money on building it, and we have hundreds of miles that we put up. A lot of people don't realize, but we did 571 miles of wall. That's why we had such good records, in addition to the fact that Mexico helped.
I feel
us
that
with
hook,
their-
dog. I'm
with
gonna
their
cut
military.
him off here real soon.
They
Don't
kept
worry.
people out, and they were actually very good under the past leader.
But I feel
now,
that. Much love, bro.
We ordered an additional 200 miles of wall. It's very expensive, and now it's about double the price of what it would have been 6 years ago. And the administration is trying to sell it for 5 cents on the dollar, knowing that we're getting ready to put it up. And what they're doing is really an act. It's almost a criminal act. They know we're going to use it, and if we don't have it, we're going to have to rebuild it.
And still made
And
it
it'll
back
cost-
for the end of the show. That's legendary.
Double what it cost years ago, and that's hundreds of millions of dollars because you're talking about a lot of wall. I built much more than I said I was going to build, but then after it was built, I said, you know, we can do some more because it's sort of like water, people flow through, and that will pretty much really take care of it. And what happened is they just, as you see, they're trying to sell it for 5 cents on the dollar, and that's really that has nothing to do with a smooth transition. That has
He's
to
right.
do with
He's right. That's scorched earth politics. What you know, the reason why they sold the whole wall, you know, literally 5 cents on the dollar. I literally thought it was 8 cents on the dollar, but I guess it's 5. Yeah, crazy. That's like fucking terrible. Who would, and we already owned it. Why would we sell something that we owned outright and sell it for pennies? Just don't get it. Anyways, with that being said, everybody, much love, honor, respect to all of you guys. We tried to, you know, keep it moving during this Monday, you know, news cycle. Usually Mondays and Tuesdays are very, very busy in the media. So I'm actually glad that we were able to get through it somewhat quickly. You know, sometimes it takes us 2.5, 3 hours to get through it. And, but yeah, you guys got the gist of today. I very much appreciate every single one of you guys. Thank you guys for liking the video and being here. Also, you know, come on, man. You gotta hit that like button. You gotta hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you guys are brand new. Also, follow my Instagram at BallValveTV, where I do everything behind the scenes, man. This is where I correspond with everybody. So send me a direct message over here, man. So with that being said, much love, honor, respect to all of you legends. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning for more of the world's chaos. We'll be right here, right back. Same bad time, bad channel, everything. We're here. We're with it, and we stick with it. Much love.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning.